Hi, everybody, and welcome back to On the DL. We are talking about my favorite topic, health and wellness today, and with Suzan Galluzo, who is for sure one of Canada's gurus, health and wellness transformation coach, who I have wanted to speak to for months. So I'm so happy that you're here, Suzanne. Welcome to On the DL.
Thank you for that amazing welcome. Thanks, Dana.
I really want to pick your brain because I know there are people that will be listening to this and watching this that are feeling like I'm feeling and know that they need a reboot. And I've been saying this forever. It doesn't matter how small you are, how large you are, it's how you feel on the
hmm
inside that matters. And I love
hmm
that that is your
Yeah.
messaging. And you're finding that
Yes,
too?
absolutely. 100%. I think sometimes people are hesitant to even say that they have an issue because of their size, being smaller or being larger. It's like, no, we all have a right to express how we feel and want, if we want to feel better, we all have that right.
I
And
love
so
that.
it's like sometimes somebody will just look at you on the outside and will say, "You look fine,"
Hmm.
right? And then well then you shouldn't ask about your health.
Hmm.
Now you've just excluded yourself from that.
I've said that your health and your wellness is the basic human right. To be able to take care of yourself and feel well is our human right. And so a
hmm
lot of people have felt that that's been taken away from them over this pandemic, that they haven't had the right to take care of themselves properly. Well, albeit they haven't been able to go to a gym, or they're in quarantine and they can't exercise outside the way they want to, or they don't have access to the food that they normally had, or they're eating a certain way. So I think it's pertinent that we start with what you're seeing and hearing from the women that you work with during the last few months, what you think is the biggest issue for women right now. But before I do that, I would love to read your bio if that's okay, because I want everyone to know who you are and the
Sure.
work that you do. Okay, Suzanne, you are it. You are it. I'm so excited that you're here. So excited you're here. Okay. Suzanne Galluzo is Canada's health and fitness transformation guru. She's a certified personal trainer and nutrition expert with over 10 years experience. Suzanne started her career as a competitor and corporate trainer for Reebok, where she was their top selling sponsored athlete before opening several gyms, which she operated for 9 years in the greater Toronto area, including Markham, Aurora, and Richmond Hill. Amidst the pandemic, she successfully turned her brick and mortar business into a digital platform and founded the Best of You online training program, which has empowered and transformed over 5,000 people. Suzanne has always been passionate about helping people achieve their health and fitness goals by equipping them with tools and knowledge they need to become their best selves. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a sec. Right here, you have two kids yourself, two young kids
Yeah.
yourself. Wow. And you try to empower people with healthy foods. You host seminars on how to clean up the pantry. Oh my God,
hmm
come to my house. Cook nutritious recipes that the entire family will enjoy. You have workouts, you have clean eating and health tips. You've been featured on numerous television shows. I know because I've watched you. And you also
Thank
now
you.
have a custom app with also a private Facebook group that you connect 500 plus members with daily. Wow.
hmm
You are busy.
Thank you. I
Yeah, you're
try.
busy.
I try to keep myself occupied, to say the
You
least.
know, I listened to I actually listened to another one of your Insta lives this morning. We'll get to that one because I when I walk, I don't just listen to podcasts. I actually listen to people's Insta lives because there's so much information in that as well. But
Yeah, absolutely.
the one from last week. So I just want to tell everybody that your Instagram account is sensational, absolutely sensational.
Thank you.
Um, I love it because you are a woman who shares. You don't
hmm
tease, you share. And it's informative, it's educational, it's compassionate, and it's real.
Thank you.
And
Those are
that's
such
why,
amazing words. Thank you.
absolutely. And I connected to it like immediately. I looked at it and I went, whoa, okay. And your Insta lives every Friday, incredibly informative. The one last week that I listened to, was validation for me. Um, because this is what I get from people. What are you talking about? You look so great. You work out
Yeah.
so much. I wish I had those muscles, or I wish I looked like you. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's nice. That's a compliment, but you don't know how I'm feeling on the inside.
Yeah.
And on the inside, I'm feeling like every other woman I have spoken to, which
Yeah.
is I feel like I cannot get a grasp on my health for a long period of time. I'll feel good for a few days and then I just crash for a few days. And I know that's what you talk about. So maybe we can start there, talk about what women are going through right now.
And the podcast not the podcast, the interview you were listening to was Mary Angela, right? A
Yes,
petite
yes,
blonde. Yeah. And
yes.
so and that's why, I mean, she was getting the same thing, like, what are you talking, you're fine, you've worked out your entire life, but she was experiencing severe bloating, indigestion issues, and she was just trying to desperately figure out, there must be a reason. I know I'm eating, quote unquote, I'm eating well, but maybe there's something more to that I'm missing. And that's what I provide, is just a little bit. I provide more education, as well as a way for women to do their own research on their own health. And I think that's what's most important that women understand, is that we are responsible for how we feel inside. And so we have to go on multiple rabbit holes to finally figure out, okay, what is it that is really bothering our digestive system, and what can we do, what sort of little methods can we implement, so that we can get to the bottom of it. And I find that's what women get with my program, is they get to the bottom of whatever it was that was, harboring their health, and from getting, even it might be physical, mental, or physiological, like inside of them, whatever barriers they felt. I feel like that's what my program provides, is just that we give you some information that you can take off and go and do a little bit research yourself to see, okay, because it's also I incorporate an elimination diet. So we go down to like bare bones food, and it's, I do it in a way that I give you all your recipes, so you never feel like you're deprived. You always feel satiated. And in that process, there's egg whites, for example, like Mary Angela spoke of. And then she determined, okay, I've eliminated everything, but egg whites are still there. Could that be the reason I'm still experiencing bloating? And it was. So it gave her that method to go through week to week of, and it has to be structured so that you do get to the bottom of what's really bothering you.
And I also think too that there needs to be support, because we have all been
Yes.
even if some of us have been more isolated than others, some people are seeing people socially distanced, or they're speaking to other people, or they're having Zoom calls. This last year and a half has been isolating for women. We know that.
Yes.
Particularly, I'm going to speak to Gen X. Women over 40 have felt that we're taking on everything, and there's not enough hours in the day to be able to be mother of the year and have a job and to look after your house and your pets and be able to cook and do everything healthy and work out and walk. And so we feel like we've taken it all on. And then there's that wall that so many of us have hit. And the wall that we hit is our health. And whether it's 2 pounds or it's 25 pounds, or maybe you've lost too much weight and you don't look good, you don't have muscle anymore, and you look too thin and you look emaciated. Every single woman has said the same thing. I feel unsupported. I just feel like we all feel the same way, but there's no support. And so I love that your Best of You program doesn't just offer recipes and workouts, you offer support for people, and it's a no judgment zone. Now, I have to tell everybody, this isn't a commercial. I've never done it.
No, and
I don't
she
know
hasn't even
anything.
been in the group yet. She's
No, I don't know. I
but
don't
you
know.
nailed it.
I watch what you do, and I see some of my colleagues and friends that have been on your program and that are on your program now, and I think, wow, my God, they're like me. Like, it's not about weight loss. It's about feeling the best you can be. And so maybe that extra glass of wine I was having for far too long, and perhaps baking cookies too many times a week, fabulous for my kids, but having too many of those, maybe it didn't put on 5 pounds, but it certainly didn't help my digestive system. And I
Yeah.
certainly didn't feel good afterwards, and I
Yeah.
didn't sleep well. So I love the support that you offer. I know that you speak to people once a week on your program.
Well, actually, a few times a week. Like, so once a
Wow.
week, they check in with me on Mondays. Every Monday, like today, they do a formal check-in, and
With
that's
you.
where, well, it's online, so they do it through an app.
Oh,
And
wow.
so Monday and Tuesday, me and my junior coach were on our laptops all day, just responding, giving them the right marching orders. Like I take on a certain number of women that I can, even if I'm overseeing everything, I'm still responding to 90% of these people to make sure they're on the right path and that they get the right marching, because it's week to week. You know how it is for women. Like, we will eat a box of cookies on the weekend and we need help on Monday to get off that train wreck of, so it's week to week. So every week it could be a different issue. You could have 4 great weeks and you hit a bump in the road or you hit a wall, and I get you out of that. So every Monday is a very formal check-in, and they follow a template, and that happens. So, and then Wednesday nights we do, and you've probably seen it on my Instagram since you've been on there, it's a recorded, if you hear my voice, um I do a live Zoom with my group every Wednesday for 2 hours.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's where the learning is, and that's always been my motto. That's always been so when I had the studios, every month, sometimes even twice a month, I did these sessions, these nutrition sessions, where all the ladies would come in, and sometimes it was a different topic, because maybe we're training for photo shoots, maybe it's New Year's resolutions or whatever it is. So I always was about educating and giving them, because women are passionate about succeeding, and we
Yeah.
want to do things so well and so right. And so I knew it's just a matter of, I'm going to teach them what I know. So I don't hold back. I'll get a little bit sciencey with them, but I teach them pretty much everything that I've learned, I've studied, I've performed on myself, on other members. So they get all the knowledge. And believe it or not, in the 90 days, that 2 hours every Wednesday still isn't enough. They stay on past the 90 days just to get as much information as they can. So that happens Wednesday evenings. And then we have the Facebook group page. And that's where the ladies feel it's on fire, our Facebook group page, because you have over 400 ladies in there that have done the program, and you know how it is when you're overjoyed with yourself and you have, for example, lost 60 pounds, you want to share that joy with other women so that they get out of what they're feeling. So that's
For
what
sure.
the Facebook group page does. So it's I'm always in contact with them. I want to be top of mind, because when you enter into a program like mine, it needs to be taken from the back burner. Like, just like you said, Dana, we've got so much on our plates, homeschooling and being top chef and the phys ed teacher, and we've got so much responsibility now. And then, we have to come up with a circus act on the weekend because
Oh, yeah.
we're running out of ideas, right? And
Yeah.
so this, allows them almost permission to, oh, well, I'm doing Sue's pro. I got to focus on myself. So I got to put this time
Well,
aside, right?
well, it's important to be held accountable also, right? Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, we know that most people are successful when they're held accountable to something.
Yes.
But I think I find it funny when you say you eat the box of cookies on the weekend. I had a Saturday night like that with one of my teens. I have teens in my house, so
Yes.
there isn't much of a circus act. The circus act comes from them on the weekend. I don't have
Yes,
to provide that from
exactly.
them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, we discovered a really good cookie and we ate a lot of them. And I thought, wow, I'm gonna have a really bad stomach ache tomorrow.
Yes.
And I did, and I wasn't feeling well. And it's that in the back of my head that tells me the next time I go to do it, maybe have one as opposed to 10,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm not held accountable to anybody but just myself. So it's the extra
Exactly it.
lemon, it's the extra lemon water, and it's trying to
Yes.
eat well the next day. because I've tried to educate myself a lot on digestion because that's always been my issue mostly.
Yeah.
But what do you feel that when women say to you, well, I want to start your program, but there's no way I can commit, especially now. I mean, it's almost summer and I know I'm going to want to go to barbecues. I want to drink wine and beer on the dock and have my mojitos and all of that stuff. Like, how do you say to people, okay, I get you, I hear you, you can have all those things, just not right in the moment? Because it's kind
Yeah.
of like, it's almost like it almost feels like crisis to me where we're at with our health right now.
As in, you say crisis because we wait till the last minute to
Yeah, yeah,
act on it.
yes.
And that's part of it is, every woman comes to me with a different story, a different situation, and a different why.
Hmm.
And, usually my response is, you know, how long are you going to stay uncomfortable? How long are you going to
Hmm.
stay in those black tights, or, the discomfort of your stomach and not knowing, like, this 3 month, the 90 days. And I mean, and then I say, haven't you had a previous 90 days of, not following anything? Let's, follow this 90 days. And then I teach you how to live your life so that you maintain it. And it's a different way of life. And it takes that 90 days. So, usually I try to convince them that summer or not, whether it's like I have lots of women who go through the Christmas holidays doing this, or it's year round.
Wow.
In the middle of summer is one of my biggest months is
Yeah,
July
for sure.
registration, right?
Yeah.
So, because what, I think women get tired of being uncomfortable, because how many times are you going to put on that swimsuit or bikini or whatever it is, that outfit, and still be unhappy? And that's for a woman who wants to lose weight. Or how many times are you going to, suffer in discomfort, but, use the excuse that you don't want to go strict, or you don't want to feel like you're, missing out on
Yeah.
anything.
I mean,
So
that's completely me. Like I'll make an excuse a million times. I'll be like, I'd love to do Sue's program, but I can't commit to it because I know that, in a month from now, we're going to start thinking about cottage, and the cottage is
cottage,
going to mean
yeah,
alcohol and
yeah,
barbecues. And I don't know if I can work out there properly. And, like
yeah.
you come
There's
up with all
always,
of these excuses,
and
right?
let's be honest, it really is never a good time. And
No.
I say to them, don't you want to go into August, September, October, like Thanksgiving? Don't you want to go into Christmas in a completely different state of mind and a
Hmm.
completely different strategy
Hmm.
in terms of your health and wellness? So, it's never a good time. After the initial 30 days, like, let's say you had came to me, that's where it becomes very manageable, because I teach you the strictness is within the first 30 days, and you see such amazing results that you're on a high, because you feel so good, you look great, and you go into month 2 with a different frame of mind. Like, this is no longer punishment. This is actually, I'm rewarding myself. And so you actually feel differently about those. Not to say that you won't participate in those weekends, you still will. I still go to the cottage, but you'll do it in a different way. But it takes that, it's hard to communicate that for the girl that is, on the fence about signing up. But when you do get in there after your initial 30 days, you're like, oh, this is great. This is different than what I thought it would be.
You mean I'd be able to still get my Weber's hamburger and French fries on the way up to the cottage?
Well,
Probably not.
yeah, well, you know what? You know what? If it's after 30, that's why, like, now's kind of a good time. It's still
I
cool
know.
outside,
I
right?
thought it was,
So,
and I also thought it was important to start talking about this now because, yes, it's about uh, summer season and how we feel and how we look, but getting back to the idea of what we feel on the inside. And when I
mhm,
talk about age and stage, it's very important to talk about hormonal health because, as you were talking about in your Insta Live this past Friday with one of your members, that she was told many times that you're going through menopause. You're gonna have you. It's too bad. Like suck it up, Buttercup. You're gonna gain a little bit of
yeah,
weight. You're gonna sweat in your sleep,
yeah,
and your energy level is just not going to be where you want it to be or what you think it should be because you're perimenopausal or now you're going through menopause. And I say F that. Like really
Yeah,
F that, because
it's a choice. It
I'm
really is a choice.
I will never give in. Never give in to that. If my legs stop working, I'd have to still find a way to move, because I know that moving is
Yes.
one of the key to success when you're in this
Hmm.
stage in life in terms of your in terms of your hormones. So maybe you can speak about hormonal health.
And every doctor will agree, movement is life. Every disease, ailment, from what I've learned, movement is life. It's always going to help you. It's never going to be a bad idea to move. So the way I see it is, when a woman comes to me and she's in her 50s or her 60s experiencing menopausal symptoms, if I took her diet and ate it when I was in my 20s, I would have the same symptoms as she's having: the
Yes.
sweats, the inflammation, the indigestion. So, fifth, I strongly believe, and from what I've done, and I don't claim anything medical in my program, but from my experiences with 5,000 women, when you're doing what is in with your control, so, and you're eating right, 75% of those symptoms decrease or disappear. Even for
Wow.
women, yeah, even for women that are still getting their period in my program, we call it the imaginary period, because there's no there's no more warning signs. You're not
Right.
PMSing, you're not,
Right.
you're 75% less bloated. You don't, I never know when my period is coming, because everything is working very, very well. Now, my husband says he knows when my period is coming, but that's, we're not
Yeah.
asking him.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just
I was.
think
Mhm.
it's a matter of, are you doing everything you can to feel your best despite despite the menopause or whatever it is that's happening? Are you doing what you can? Now, we can reverse diabetes with food. So how can we not um, almost, minimize the symptoms of menopause? And that's from what I've done, from my experiences with all my ladies, and I have ladies from their 20s to 75, and they will all say the same thing, that they feel 100 times better, and that they question their last exam. Why did the doctor tell me that this happens with age? It's the weight gain is just, it's hormonal, and it's just going to happen, and we just have to accept this part. And I don't think they're lying. I think that it's a
Yeah.
choice.
I think, listen, my husband's a doctor, and
Yeah, I
whenever,
know.
whenever I complain about stuff, he'll say, "Honey, it's just your age. You got to accept it." I mean, like
Yeah,
he goes, "What do you want? You want to look and feel like you did when you were 30 or 35?" I went, "No, I want to look better and feel better, because
yeah,
every year I set a goal for myself and I feel better. But it's not just
yeah.
with the sit-ups that I'm doing.
No.
It's a whole picture. It's the
Hmm.
whole idea. It's a mindset of how I want to change things." And again, bringing back or getting back to your Instagram, I was watching one of your videos about your morning routine. I kid you not, I am putting a coffee maker in my bathroom.
See,
I am, because
I swear.
I need, I always say, if I don't do what I need to do in the morning before everybody bugs me, I don't get it
Yes,
done. And I
you won't.
am,
Yeah. And then
I'm just,
work.
yeah, the day is gone. So, for instance, today I haven't worked out. I did not work out, which I'm mad that I didn't get to work out. I got to walk. I had a beautiful walk. It was long, 6,000 steps, not optimal, which means I want to get out
That's
and do
great
some
though.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good because I have a dog, so I get to, get to move no matter what. But I always say that my dog comes with me. I don't take my dog out because I would have walked
Exactly.
anyway. Yeah,
Exactly.
you have to think of it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I definitely want to change the way I go about my health, and I think that this is part of it for women. And I'm hoping people who are listening and watching feel inspired, even if they take one step,
Hmm.
whether it's logging onto your Instagram account, speaking to somebody, saying it out loud, what is upsetting them about their health and their wellness
Hmm.
journey, because we are all on a journey right now. Whether you like it or not, life is a journey,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have to take charge of your health. And what we have seen in this last 14, 15 months is that a lot of it has been taken from us, and we have to take our power back and
Yes.
start to feel
Uh,
good.
For and I feel really strongly about what we can control, what's within our control, that's what you need to focus on right now,
Absolutely.
which is you.
Yes.
If you have a spouse, your children, your closest to you, focus on that. Focus on maintaining the health of your surroundings.
Right. Now, this is another, maybe another excuse. One of your recipes on it, I love it. I think it was the chicken sliders. They look delicious. Maybe they were chicken sliders. And
I
I thought,
think
okay,
so, yeah.
okay, I could do turkey sliders because I know my kids like turkey. And then I thought they won't eat that. Now I want to eat that for dinner, but they won't eat that for dinner. So I'm making an excuse saying, well, I don't want to make two dinners,
Meals.
right?
You
Two
know
meals.
what though?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. So when women are in my program, they're almost forced to take on a new way of cooking, right?
Hmm.
They have to make their meals. And I kid you not, and you can post it on my page. All the members will say, "Why is everybody in my house eating my food now?" And it's because, and that it happens with every age, especially the teenagers. They will invade
Oh,
your
they'll eat
meal
anything.
prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, and I have a 7 and a 9-year-old, and I don't even
Wow.
give them enough credit when it comes to, sometimes I go through, I'm like, I assume they won't like it, but then they will shock me after me. But so it's just a matter of, trust me, if you made those chicken burgers, they will eat them. Maybe not the first time, but they will the second time. It happens with majority of my recipes. They're all very family friendly. A lot of women come into the program willing to do whatever it takes because they've made that decision that they need to get from point A to point B. So whatever Sue says I'm going to do, they don't anticipate that their family is going to be on board as well or gets on board. And
Right.
I'd say half the women come in with that assumption that they're going to be always making two meals and they're okay with it. But what ends up happening is their family ends up eating everything they're eating.
Wow, that's very comforting because I feel like
Yes,
I spend unless I'm here in my studio, I'm in my kitchen. Those are the two
absolutely.
places. I mean, I get to sleep in my bedroom, but it's only for a short period of time. That's what I say. Like I really
Absolutely.
spend most of my time here and then in my kitchen, and I'm
Yeah.
constantly cooking and preparing, and maybe it just needs some tweaking, and maybe people listening will think, well, maybe I just need some tweaking, which is great. That's the beginning,
Yeah.
right? That's just the
Yeah.
beginning. So I have so many questions here I want to
Go
ask you
for
about because
it. Fire them.
I know that you don't like sugar. Who
I
likes
don't.
sugar? No, sugar is evil.
Sugar is evil. Sugar is probably the root of most of the problems I see in ladies. High estrogen, sugar addictions, having cravings, mood swings, trouble losing weight. So, since I started my studios, before there was any macros and calorie counting and any of that, my focus has always been sugar because I knew at a very young age how sugar affected me. So I had to do, when I was in my 20s, I had to do candida cleanses and,
So did
you know,
I.
see, and then that's when I realized the power of sugar. And when they tell you you can't even have balsamic vinegar because it has mold, or coffee has mold, you realize, wow, there's a lot of hidden sugars and molds and yeast in foods. And so my focus when I opened my studios, that's what I knew. I knew that going on those types of cleanses fixed me, cured me. Now it was a matter of now the plan was, okay, how do I make that so that people enjoy the recipes that they're making? They enjoy the process, and it's not like, your naturopath gives you a piece of paper and it's from like it still works. It's fabulous. It's from the 90s, let's say. It's a piece of paper and it says it's like how to do the candida cleanse. And it's a list of yeses and nos, but there's no recipes or any fun behind it. So that's where I put the fun back into just bringing foods and recipes to ladies where they didn't miss the sugar. They
Okay,
don't notice.
you're killing me because I'm addicted to balsamic vinegar, and I literally I could drink balsamic vinegar, but I use it in so much of my cooking, and almost I'd say probably 5 times a week. That's my base for my salad dressing. Bad, bad, bad.
So
Gotta think about
we
it.
use
Yep.
we use an apple cider vinegar
I
dressing with
love
apple
apple
cider
cider.
vinegar. So
Yeah.
that's a better trade-off.
Okay, there we go, everybody, if you're listening, right? That's a very good tip. So, you talk about no alcohol.
Mhm. Again, okay, so and which is a big downer for a lot of people, but
Big
again,
downer.
I know, but again, it's temporary. I teach you, I always say this, the difference between you and I is I know how to cheat better. I like to drink at the cottage. I like to, if I'm addicted to anything, it's sweets. I like my sweets, but I will teach you how to do it properly, where it's the 80-20 rule. So I'm going to teach you even amazing pantry recipes for you to make for your whole family at the cottage, and you will not miss s'mores or anything like that. You will prefer anything that you make. And so having that alcohol, we do a cleanse for 30 days because from what I've researched, if you cleanse from alcohol for minimum 30 days, you push out excess estrogen through the large intestine also by also consuming a significant amount of vegetables. And I teach you how to do this. So the alcohol is temporary. I tell girls, listen, I'm not going to take away your alcohol for more than 30 to 45 days. 90% what ends up happening, they don't even want it back after I'm done with the 30 days with them. They are totally fine keeping it out because it's your choice. It's going to slow down your results because your body, as we know, has to burn alcohol first
Yes,
before it starts burning fats, right?
right.
So,
Uh-huh.
and carbohydrates. So we want to give our body a fair shot at continuous burning of fats and carbohydrates and sugar and everything, right? So,
I will admit to you when I scaled back on wine, because that's when I say alcohol, that's all I drink is red wine. And I was drinking a lot of it last year at the beginning of the pandemic. And then I just thought just feel so gross. Like even
yes.
one or two glasses a night, I'm
Yeah.
feeling gross, just super gross. I'm like, I'm not drinking it. I'm not drinking anymore. And now if I have a little bit, it's more than enough. And it's just a
Good.
little bit some of the time. It's not all the time. Like we
Good.
have so much wine in my house because we're not going through it anymore. We were going through it way too
Exactly.
fast. That's a whole other issue, but no more. I said, no more. I don't like it. I know it's contributing to no good. And so we had to cut that back. So, two things I want to talk about are cleaning up the pantry is one.
Yeah.
And two, we were talking about vinaigrettes and salad dressing. So not all oils are made the same either. They're not all
No.
equal. Right. So
No.
what's a bad oil?
So like a canola oil,
Yeah.
we try to stick to, cold pressed olive oil, coconut oil, things that don't go rancid fast.
What about grapeseed
Um,
oil, avocado oil?
yeah, all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all these questions that I was getting. Intermittent fasting. What's your thought on that?
So I like it. We actually implemented in my month 2. We do intermittent fasting as well as a digestive reset, but it's not till after we've done, which is called newbie nutrition month 1, where the hormones reset because we're on a very low sugar, very high vegetable. Um, the protein is moderate. Everybody seems to think that you have to be on high protein. My diet is vegetable based. It's plant based, 75% plant based, and that's why the ladies feel so good. So month
Mm-hmm.
2, you feel so good going into it. That's when I introduce intermittent fasting as more as of a technique. Some girls thrive in it, and some girls do not. We do it for a temporary period. It's about anywhere from 9 to 13 days is the minimum that I like for the girls to do it, just to experience it because it might the shorter for me, the why I like intermittent fasting, it just condenses the eating window from
Mm-hmm.
12 p.m. So it's a 7-hour eating window, and we see if that works. But first and foremost is, it's your food choices. Intermittent fasting, that's why people always want to throw it in, and they think that they're doing themselves a favor by doing, eating their crappy foods, but during intermittent fasting
Right.
times. And it's
It's
like,
not going to
you're
work.
still doing the same thing, just in a
Right.
different way, So it's
Exactly.
really important that people understand that it's food choices first, then
Right.
technique and how you do it is second, because at the end of the day, if a girl eats her cucumber in the morning or at night, it does not matter.
I asked about intermittent fasting because there's been so much controversy around fasting and 1 meal a day and eating in a short window and fasting for the rest, and that there are repercussions for not doing things properly. Like you said, it's your food choices. So if you're
Yeah.
starving yourself for 16 hours, let's say, maybe half of that you're sleeping, but you decide you're going to have pizza for dinner and chocolate cake for dessert, it doesn't work.
Pointless.
And even
Pointless.
if it works for a short period of time, you're going to gain all your weight back as soon as you start eating your 3 meals a day, right?
The only reason it would work is because you put yourself in a calorie deficit where
Right.
so whether you're eating, but I always tell ladies this, you could eat 1,200 calories of chocolate cake, or you could eat 1,200 calories of volume foods that are going to fill you up, give you the right micronutrients, macronutrients, and are going to change your body composition, right? We're big on, okay, how many protein, carbs, and fats. We learn that in month 2. I teach them. So, it's food choices. You don't want to you'll look like chocolate cake if your diet consists of chocolate cake. That's
you're it'll show up on your skin too.
Exactly.
So you also talked about almond milk, not a good one.
Yeah. You know why? Because conventional almond milk made from GMO almonds, first of all, there's only 6 to 12 almonds in that jug of almond milk, which is 2 liters, 1.5 liters. And so it's like, well, what are you getting? You're getting filler and thickeners and bleach. They're whitening the product to make it look milky. It is so easy to make your own almond milk, so easy and so healthy. And so for that reason, almond milk is great if you are making it.
Okay. What about Thermic Foods?
Hi. So Thermic Foods, this is Ariana. Hi, Ariana.
Hi. Do you like your mom's cooking?
Do you like my cooking? She asked.
Yeah.
She's a good cook.
I'm sure, and baker too, right? I've seen some of the stuff you've baked. It's so yummy.
Yeah. So go to your class.
You're like, get back to school. I hear you.
Thermic Foods. Thermic Foods. Okay, so Thermic Foods. Thermic Foods are foods that have properties which allows them to burn themselves. So, and this is one of those things, it's like, well, had I known this, I would have understood the reason why we need a protein component, or in the Thermic Foods encompass so many different foods, even coffee, apple cider vinegar, what else? Eggs, fish is highly thermic, chicken, highly thermic, olive oil, a lot of the foods that you see in the Mediterranean diet. So we want a diet that consists of a good portion of thermic foods, at least 30% of your diet. So 30% should be of thermic foods, because thermic foods, it's like free food. It burns itself. So up to 30%, depending on how thermic the food is like free food. So that's why you can eat chicken and have a few extra pieces of chicken, or have a few extra egg whites, or, because
fill yourself up with good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're buying chicken that's smothered in sauce, that sauce is filled with sugar. You're not doing yourself a favor.
Yeah. Sugar, high fructose corn syrup, chemicals that are going to stop your weight loss efforts. Okay. And those are mistakes that it's very common. A lot of women are eating the right foods. It's just a matter of tweaking a few things so that that's all. And it's, and it's like, and it's, so it's, we're on the right path. It's just that we need a little bit more guidance, knowledge, and application. And then that's it. You're off to the races. Once women learn my process and my technique, that's it. They could teach their friends how to do it.
And also, we were just talking about walking, how I said that I would walk no matter if I had a puppy or not. One of the reasons why I wanted a dog is because I said I want some company. Walking is so important. We've known this for years. And it really, people ask me all the time, they're like, how do you stay in shape? I said, I walk. They're like, well, you must be a runner, or you must, I'm like, no, I just walk. And it's important. If your legs can move, you need to move.
Yeah, it's it contributes to your NEAT levels, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is housework, laundry, walking, stuff that's not stressful.
Mhm.
We need to just move, that's it. That's why, tracking your steps is a good idea, just to make sure that you're not becoming totally sedentary in your life,
Yes.
and just staying at your desk. It doesn't have to be walking all the time. I tell my ladies, like, just be active, going up the stairs for the 5th time. It's okay, do it, just make things extra work. Instead of ordering Uber Eats, go get it. Get in your
Yeah,
car,
go walk,
make
or
the
go walk
effort.
there.
Walk
You
there
can.
even better,
And so you also talk about, I mean, I know that a huge part of your program is working out, and that you do help people with how to work out properly. That's another
Mhm.
huge issue for people, is that they'll say, I
Yeah.
work out 5 days a week and I haven't seen any results. I can't get a bicep. I can't get
Yeah.
anything. My stomach looks the exact same. I have these rolls. So people aren't working out properly. So you also help women achieve their fitness goals
Yes.
by teaching them how to work out properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost is food, right? It's 80% of your results. I get a lot of ladies that they're training so hard and they're not seeing anything happen. My approach for women has always been a full body approach. And then we focus as we shed and that's for the fat loss stage. So we shed the fat with a full body approach. It's it's HIIT, um, strength and cardio all in one.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
right. So it's an all in one. They do follow along videos, my girls. So they just
Oh,
literally press, yeah. And I find it's very, so I structure, my intent was, how do I bring the studio feel into the online world? Well, they need to feel like they're in a studio. So they're following along actual members who are very nice to look at. Let me tell you, these girls were in top form, and as me as well, I'm in the video leading it, and they're following along. And so,
amazing.
yeah, so it's no thought process. You're following and you're getting what needs to be done. I shape women's bodies based on women's body parts. So, I go after the smaller waist, the rounder bum, the sculpted shoulders, nice long legs. So my workouts are designed around women's bodies.
I have loved talking to you. I feel like I could talk to you for
Yeah.
hours and hours. How do
Me
people
as
find?
well.
Oh, that's so good. I love that.
Yeah, you're amazing.
I thank you. That's so kind of you. This is just a topic that people don't want to talk about out loud. We feel like shit. We need help, and
Yeah.
sort of like, find your community. That's what I say to people.
Yeah.
Find your happiness where who it may be one person, it may be 50 people, but
I
find it
think
and start to feel better,
what I get a lot just to add to that is, I know what they're almost embarrassed when they say it too. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
we all know what we're supposed to do. It doesn't mean we
Of
do
course.
it,
That's right.
and that it's okay for, I've spent the last 13 years studying health and wellness and women's bodies and having my own research and development on actual ladies. I am a pro at this. You've spent the last 13 years becoming a professional in your industry. I can't do what you do. So I think women have to allow themselves to ask for help and receive it. And it's okay. Just because we've lost weight in the past and gotten in shape in the past doesn't mean that the knowledge it's changed. There's new things to apply. So just because you've done it in the past, and maybe whether you were successful or you failed or you're back at square one, it doesn't, who cares? Move on,
So
get the help.
exactly. Amen. Amen. It's a new world for you. So how do people find you?
So my website, everything is Suzan Galluzo. My website, my Instagram, my YouTube, and my Facebook is SuzanGalluzzo.
Amazing.
So you can
Thank you.
find me anywhere.
Thank you so, so, so much for coming and speaking to us. I'm going to ask you to come again in a couple of months
I would
for sure,
love
because I
to.
want to hear, I want to hear how people are doing, because I know you have a slew
Yeah.
of new members now, and I want to see and hear about their progression as we head into the summer months.
We have photo shoots coming up, and so you're going to see about 48 ladies participate
Amazing.
in June. So
Amazing.
you'll see some crazy transformations that all happened during this time, during pandemic. Some of them have been doing it for a year, and this is their day to shine.
Amazing. Suzanne, thank you so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this. Thanks, Dana.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.